possession of a mermaid's purse. A mullet, a kipper, and a winkle were all standing in the dock, accused of multifarious felony that created quite a shock. The prosecution counsel, the earnest Mr. Place, stood up with great authority and thus outlined the case. My lord, it is a total disgrace. A mullet with a mallet to bludgeon a gudgeon teamed up with a kipper who'd worked as a dipper. And the third of this trio of reprobates is a winkle with previous for stealing from skates and nicking the shells from some barnacle mates. The result? Some homeless invertebrates. The judge nodded sorrowfully as the clerk she wrote it down. There was a murmur from the jury, and the shrimps began to frown. The winkle gave her evidence, outlining her part in the said offence. A simple summary would pretty much be, it really was little to do with me.
Honest, Gov, the kipper was the skipper. I was just the old lookout. The mullet was the one employed to give the plan a bit of clout. It all hinged on the big race to take place at Musselburgh. We'd all put our money on the talking lobster. We'd checked out the form real thorough. The only one who'd beat the lobster was the thoroughbred seahorse, and so the plot was hatched. Without its tail, seahorse would lose, of course. The ambush was arranged, it was going swimmingly to plan. Then a wink, well, more of a blink, I think, and we all ended up in the can. As for the mermaid's purse, well, I found it on a reef. I was carrying it back to hand it in. After all, I'm not a thief. The barnacles had gone away, they'd left their shells behind. I thought I'd put them in safekeeping to be neighbourly and kind.
So that's the way it happened, if we accept the winkle's claim. Maybe a little wink's a winkle? Is that how the winkle got its name? We've heard the winkle's story. Do we accept her version of the truth? Or is it just a half-baked, cooked-up red herring? Will it be backed up by some proof? The judge, a hard-of-hearing hermit crab, ear trumpet shell to ear, kept losing concentration and scuttled far and near. The full-time job of two dogfish was to follow him about and shepherd him back to the bench and his jar of sauerkraut. The court clerk was a turbot who was partial to a sherbet. She would look most disapproving if the public started moving. The kipper took the stand and settled in the sand. A sadder face you've never seen. It was enough to make your gills turn green. I was born in a storm in the shack on the back of a sunken paddle steamer with a joint smokestack. My mother had to graft from morning till night for a pitiful wage and appalling light in the dark insides of the rusting hulk, packing bladder-racking sacks to be sold in bulk. Soon after I was born, my mother died. And at this point the kipper openly cried. The owner of the premises kicked me out. I was alone in the ocean, I just wandered about, until at last I found somewhere to doss, in a dull gingy dive owned by the boss of a disreputable business called First Loves, which made scabbards for swordfish and fish finger gloves. Although this was a front for more dishonest deals, like the smoking of haddock and the jellying of eels. Well, some wild catfish frequented this joint. We parted all night.